My name is Izzy Trubshaw and I am a reporter for the Guildford Dragon News. Today I am here with Jenny Gretton, who is a local author who's recently written the book It's All About Butty. And I've recently read it, and today I'm conducting an interview with you all about your book, all about Butty. So this novel follows the story of a young man with a rather unfortunate name, Arbuthnot Braithwaite, and he's born in a rural town in Yorkshire, and against all odds he goes to build a career in medicine. He goes to London, and I won't spoil it, but goes on all sorts of adventures. So my first question is all about the style of your book. I think you struck a very good balance between the simplicity of the novel. I mean, it's only written 200 pages. It spans his whole life from the day he's born and up until he's around 30 years old. But then I think there are quite a lot of complex ideas behind his story as well. I mean, from what I took from it, it's all about this fact that when we're born, we're often defined by our environment, by our upbringing, but we have to sort of have that responsibility to break through it. So my first question is, have I understood that correctly? And if so, what was the inspiration behind that theme?
Well, you're absolutely right. Yes, some people manage to break through barriers of position and upbringing and all the rest of it and survive and do very well. This book only covers him until he's about 28, something like that. I am now writing a sequel.
Oh, okay.
And that is flowing pretty well.
Yeah.
This, once or twice I had a struggle with the first, because at the age of 89, you don't sort of catch on to writing books when you've been doing something else all your life. The inspiration was the births column in the Daily Telegraph, and I used to always study the names that they'd given little boys, and some of them are so awful. And you think, that poor little chap, he's going to have to survive all his life without changing his name. Girls are lucky, because a lot of girls get married and then they change but even they suffer sometimes. So that was my original inspiration, and that's why I wrote chapter 1, which is all about his naming. And then I sort of thought, well, that's a nice short story, but what happens to him after that? How does he get over all these problems? And so then one thing led to another, and 200 pages later, you've got the beginnings of his life.
And is this theme of defining yourself something that you feel like you've experienced in your own life and it's fed into the novel?
Yes, because I worked for a brilliant surgeon when I was 19. I was his medical secretary, and because I sort of cottoned on to things very quickly, he felt that I should go to medical school. And he went all the way down to the Isle of Wight with his wife to try and convince my parents that I ought to go to medical school. So I struggled a bit then, but he encouraged me to keep going, and as a result of that I ended up running the journal that he had started in 1948.
So in a way, I suppose Butty's story is definitely fed in through your life and your experiences. Is there anyone else who's inspired Butty as a character?
Well, when I was at the journal, one of the things I did was to take pleas for funds for boys and girls actually, going off on elective studies. So I wanted to bring in the fact that being a medical student didn't mean you were God's gift, but that you could add something to someone's life or some people's lives. And that's why I sent him off on an elective study. Yeah. But it's all based on things that have happened to me or I've seen. It's pure imagination, the creation of the book. None of the people are real people. Thank goodness.
But if there's one thing that you would want a reader to take away from the novel, what would that be?
Peace and a humorous entertainment.
Well, that's one thing that I was reading the book, that it was very funny. And I really like the way it evolved from, as a child, you're sort of, the narrative reflects his internal monologue as a little boy, completely misunderstanding the world, but thinking that he understands it. And as he grows up, he realises that he didn't understand it when he was younger, and still never really understands it. You're always learning, aren't you? So was it a challenge to kind of have that balance between humour and then a serious theme underneath?
No, it wasn't a challenge. It sort of came naturally, because that's what life's like, isn't it? A bit.
That's good. Sticking on the same theme of the humour, before I came here, I was told that the author has been involved in the dramatic and sometimes humorous events in the world of medicine. And could you recount some of those events and whether or not they inspired some of the elements of this story?
No, because they're all memories that, and I've extracted bits from memories.
I see.
Some of them, I just couldn't say that they were specific incidents, but yes, luckily in the world of medicine, luckily for the people who work in medicine, there are occasions that are very funny. I hope still, but I think everybody's in such a rush nowadays, they can't perhaps enjoy their jobs as much as they did when I was involved.
Yeah, and one thing that I did actually, the part about Butty going on his elective to Uganda, that for me was quite powerful, because I've actually recently done some medical charity work in Nepal. I just got back about 2 weeks ago. We were delivering medical camps to communities in the remote Himalayan villages. Have you done much work, not necessarily an elective, but medical work abroad, and had that life-changing experience which ultimately shaped who you are today?
No, I haven't. We've travelled a lot. We spent 2 years in the Canary Islands, where I did work in a clinic there, but it was very much a sort of walk in and walk out, and I wasn't terribly involved. I was a clinic manager, so I just made sure that things were going smoothly. Yes, I haven't actually done any, apart from perhaps visits to Poland, when I used to go and visit a children's hospital on behalf of a charity, and I could assess what equipment they needed. And we were able to raise the money and send it, and it made such a tremendous difference. So that was nice. Yes, I suppose that's.
Well, even that, Poland in Europe, but even experiences like that open up your perspective to the realities of other people's lives,
yes.
And that's definitely something that Butty experiences in the book.
That's very much in the African, when he goes into the operating theatre and there's a light that shouldn't be in an operating theatre, that sort of thing. Yes, that definitely coloured my description of the
exactly, and
hospital.
I suppose it's something that you would like everyone to experience in life, because if you end life and you've only really stuck in your own bubble and never broken free, you haven't really experienced what there is to know about the world.
Well, yes, I don't want to preach, and I don't want to sound, as if she does this, she does that. No, that's not me really. But I think you learn an awful lot by listening to other people, and if you keep your eyes open, you find that you can sort of formulate ideas that may not have occurred to them. It's simple things that can change the way they work.
It definitely seems that all the experiences Butty has in the book leads to a sort of a big success. At the end, I won't spoil it again, but there's a big success at the end for Butty. For me, it wasn't entirely clear throughout the novel what that success attributed to. Was that entirely his career? Was it his relationships? Was it his personal growth? So for you, what does success mean to you, first of all? And then what do you think Butty's success attributes to?
Oh, that's a hard one, isn't it? Success means to me, whoever I'm dealing with is pleased, or feels rewarded for something they've done, or is happy. There's so much unhappiness around. If somebody can be made happy by having some problem, they are either by just sitting there and listening. I think you can do a lot of mending. Call it mending.
As you were writing the novel, did it evolve quite a bit, or did at first you have a vision and you sort of stuck to that vision?
No. One chapter sort of unfolded after another. I mean, the first chapter was all about his name, and then I sort of thought, well, you know, he's going to grow up, and how's he going to deal with this? And then so it went through the chapters of I introduced Gramps because I felt Gramps was a very solid, kindly gentleman who was going to keep an eye on Butty all his life. And then he goes to school and misinterprets what the teacher means about learning to read. But he's got an exceptional brain.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. He's a very bright boy. And the sequel, I think...
So does that continue his life?
Oh,
basically?
yes. Oh, yes.
Do you know where that will end, or is that still in the progress?
It's well, I'm up to chapter 6, so I haven't quite decided everything that's going to happen to him. But he has all sorts of funny, exciting things happening.
Very good. Well, I think that brings me to the end of my questions. As I say, I really enjoyed reading the book, and now knowing there's a sequel, I'm very much looking forward to reading that as well.
Good.
As I did end the book, I did think, I mean, not that it was an abrupt ending,
No.
it was a very nice ending, but I did think, I wonder what's going to happen to him.
That's
So
what a lot
I'm very
of people...
glad.
Yes.
I'm very glad that there is a sequel.
Well, last night I was at a concert with a couple of friends, and in the interval, one of them said to me, I think Butty is going to get out of Harley Street. It's not in his nature to do that sort of thing. I said, really? You know?
Well, one thing I did notice is that he never really failed in the book. And I was thinking he kept going, and he kept having good experiences, great life experiences, which always pushed him higher and higher, advanced him in life. Whether or not that's representative of reality, because we always have these hurdles that we've got to face and sometimes get pushed back down. So I'll be interested to see whether or not Butty does have a hurdle that he has to face.
He doesn't have serious problems in life, but he does have problems because Davina, you know, his girlfriend, she's from a different background completely, and that causes him a few little problems, but I'm not going to give the story away.
Okay, very good. Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Jenny. It was lovely to speak to you. And
Thank you.
Those who want to buy and read It's All About Butty, then you can order it online.
Yes. And at Paper Moon, they stock
Paper
it.
Moon in Guildford, which is an independent bookshop.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you.